Oh, hey guys. I was going super fast and I didn't know the door wasn't open, so I bumped into the door. I was playing around with speed and time remapping. I know, silly me. Anyways, let's see here inside Premiere how we can do that, speed up or slow down clips. There are a couple of ways to do that. First of all, we can always right-click onto a clip, head over to speed/duration, and just change the speed percentage from there. We can also choose to reverse the speed, but this is not such a good option. There are better ways to do that. Now let's have a look at the toolbox. Right in here, we should find somewhere the rate stretch tool. It's right there, or just press the R on your keyboard. This allows you to just stretch the clip shorter, which will speed up the clip, as we can see here, or we can also just kind of drag that longer. I do need to put it one track higher in order to do that. And this way, the clip will play slower. We can see the percentage here as well inside the clip name, which is currently set at almost 55%. But there is a third way that is a ton better, and that is by doing a time remapping on your clip. Time remapping, also called time ramping, is a technique where you're going to fast forward or slow down clips. So that means that we're going to change the speed. In order to do that, I'm going to change the view of my clip. Right here we can find an FX button. And currently it is set to opacity. We can see this line right here, and by pulling it down we can actually decrease the opacity of that clip. But we're not interested in the opacity at the moment, we are interested in a time remapping feature. So right-click on there, and from here choose time remapping speed. This is a default option, as we can see here in the effects controls, time remapping, it's right there. We could also change the value or the property in here, but I find working on the clip is much easier. So what we can do now is find the point where we would like to start speeding up this clip. Let's say here on the end. I can just then take the pen tool from the toolbox, or just simply press the P button on my keyboard and then place a keyframe on that point. Now this is a very special keyframe. It's a time remapping keyframe. So it works different. It's actually going to divide your clip in two parts, left part and the right part. What I can do now is with the right part, for example, pulling this line up, which will fast forward the clip, and we can see the percentage value over there. Let's fast forward that all the way up to 300%, which is 3 times faster. There we go. So I'm playing this clip back right now. You will see that the last part is fast forwarded. Now here's something pretty cool. I can actually open up the keyframe right here. Let me just zoom in a tiny bit. And by opening that up, we can see that we can gradually change the speed. So instead, by instantly going from normal speed all the way up to 300%, we gradually go from 100 to 300. We can even grab the lever here in between and change the behavior of the ramping, make it more like an S-curve. And now let's have a look. The clip will gradually speed up, and it also looks a ton more natural. Now something we can also do is of course slow down our clips. However, you need to pay attention to the frame rate of your source clips. When taking a look at the B-roll folder, you'll see that we've got a few clips in here, clip number 23 and 25, which are shot at 60 frames per second. The others are at 30 frames per second. Let me just quickly add a label for those two clips. I'm going to select 25 and 23, right-click and change the label color to, I don't know, let's just take mango. Pretty cool. So for these two, I can actually go below 100. Maybe do that. I'm going to drag down the left side. We can go all the way to 50% because we are working in a timeline of 30 frames per second. And 60 fits exactly twice in there. And because my gap wasn't long enough, my clip here got trimmed off. So let me just use the track select tool, move everything to the right, and trim this clip open. So first now you can see that we go at slow motion, and then here it speeds up and it goes fast forward to the next clip. Let's bring that next clip in here. And we can actually use that time remapping feature as a nice transition. So as we speed up here in this part of the clip, of the first clip, we now go to a speed up part of clip number 12. Let me just make this a little bit shorter here like that. I'm going to create a new keyframe somewhere right here in the middle and move the left part up. Speed that up, like so. Also ramp that, always do it. And let's have a look now. So we speed up and we cut to the next shot, which also is a little bit speed up. But I think that we can go even faster. So let me just push this up right here. And let's have a look now. There you go. Maybe the first clip can also be a little bit faster. You know, that's a thing with time remapping. You're constantly making adjustments just to see that your time remapping goes smooth or your transitions go smooth. Look at it, how nice that is. You know, with time remapping, you always want to make sure that you're not fast-forwarding clips. You always want to make sure that you're making a time remapping with a reason. Like for instance here, we have created this transition between these two clips. As the first one speeds up on the end and the second one speeds up in the beginning, we get this beautiful transition between these two. Definitely because of the motion as well. So we can do that basically again here. On the end of this clip, we're again going to place a keyframe and move the right part up, speeding that up. Again, open up that keyframe on the end, and let's place clip number 23 next to it. Also here, we're going to select the time remapping speed, create a keyframe, because we're again having that nice motion in there, until here, speed up the first part, make that smooth, and let's have a look. And I think that my second clip here can go a little bit faster. Again, you have to play back and forward and just see how it looks. So right here we've got an issue, what I was talking about. Yannick is suddenly painting super fast, and that is just fast forwarded. It doesn't look good. So what I'm going to have to do here is make my ramping a lot shorter. We're going to have to work with a very short time remapping. So maybe make the first part even faster, but just short. It cannot just take that long. Let's have a look now. There we go. This looks a lot better. His hand movement here in the beginning doesn't take so long, so it doesn't grab our attention, and your time remapping looks a lot more smooth. So again, if we like, we can go even below the 100 because this is a clip shot at 60 frames per second. You don't always have to go to 50. You can also go to something like 60%. You got enough room. You can go up until 50%. Look at that. Painting in slow motion. All right, let's just speed up one last part here of this clip. Again, a keyframe, move this part up. We know the drill right now. Spread out the keyframe, bring this shot closer to the other one. Let's see how this looks. Make sure that Yannick doesn't look like he's being fast forwarded. Almost looking good. Let me just trim this clip a little bit more like that. This actually looks pretty good. All right, also for this one, time remapping speeds, keyframe in the middle, speed up the first part, stretch out the keyframe, and let's play it back. All right, this can go a lot faster now. We got the same problem as with the previous clip, where Yannick seems to be fast forwarded in his painting action. Well, maybe a little bit shorter as well. There we go, looking a lot better. Now, this is not footage that is so easy to work with. Of course, when you are filming like bicycles or cars or something, that has like a fixed motion and it's always easier to fast forward. Now, there's one last thing that I'd like to show you guys here with this clip, which is shot number 10 here at 30 frames per second. Let's say that we would like to add a slow motion to it. So for this time now, I'm going to right click and say speed/duration, and I'm going to set my speed to 50%. Press OK. So actually, we've only got now 15 frames per second available, and you can kind of see this choppiness definitely here in this pencil. So an option that we have, if we go back to that same menu here, speed/duration, is here on the bottom called time interpolation. If we set that to optical flow, what Premiere is going to do is actually create new frames in between. It's going to calculate those. So press OK, and what you always have to do now is render your clip. So I'm going to set an in point and an out point around that clip. Go to my menu on top, sequence, and say render into out. It's some kind of a bug that you always need to render it before you can see it. It's not that the playback will be not smooth, it's just Premiere doesn't show the optical flow when you haven't rendered your effect. So there we go. And now this footage looks a ton more smooth, and that is because Premiere has added these extra frames in between. And we can definitely see that coming back very well here in his movement. With every frame that I'm going forward, we can see a movement in his head. So that means that we have 30 frames available. But changing this back to the frame sampling, we have 15 frames. And when I'm going back now, every frame, you'll see that only Yannick moves every 2 frames. There you go, the more you know. And that's it about time remapping, how you can speed up, slow down, and ramp your clips. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.